Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the Off the Bench podcast. My name is Robert Sellers. I know it's been a minute since I've made a video about college football or college basketball. I haven't even talked about anything since Indiana won the national championship. And I know it's been a second. I get it. I've sort of been working through some things, but we're back. I'm really excited about this video. I'm previewing some college basketball. And you might say to yourself, Robert, it's not March. Why are you talking about college basketball? Everyone knows that the world only transitions to this great sport when March Madness comes around. Well, I think that's an issue because if you're not watching college basketball right now, if you're not invested in it, if you're not turning on your TV on Saturdays and saying to yourself, I don't care that college football is over because we have an amazing slate of college basketball. I'm sorry, but you're really missing out on an amazing sport because college basketball is beautiful. It's gorgeous. It's at its peak right now. There's so many good storylines right now in the season, from Nebraska's undefeated run that just ended to Michigan, to Miami, Ohio's undefeated run, to the spectacular freshman class that we have going on right now. There's so much goodness in it. And if you're waiting all the way until March to enjoy this beautiful sport, I'm sorry, but you're missing out. Like it really is spectacular. So today I'm going to preview the weekend for college basketball. We're going to look at some Friday night games and pretty much the entire slate on Saturday because there's some great stuff. Like it's going to be amazing. Michigan State is on Friday night. Also Dayton St. Louis. Don't sleep on the A10. I never sleep on the A10. That conference is amazing. And on Saturday we have a loaded slate, highlighted in my opinion by AJ Dybansta versus Darryn Peterson in Allen Fieldhouse. That game is going to be so awesome. I cannot wait to watch it. And then late night, we got ourselves St. Mary's Gonzaga to see who controls the West Coast Conference. I mean, there's so many good games in between that I'm going to talk about too. I'm going to give you my opinion on the games, my game picks, and just going to talk about college basketball, which legitimately is like my favorite thing to do right now. So we're going to start, we're not going to wait too long. We're going to start with Michigan State on Friday night. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a rare treat that we get a spectacular, amazing basketball game on Friday night like this one. This is the best Friday night game of the year so far. Number 3, traveling on the road to take on number 7, a big-time rivalry game. The Wolverines taking on the Spartans. Both these teams are one-loss teams in the Big Ten. They're both playing really good basketball. Both of them are coming off of really good games on Tuesday night. Michigan got a huge win over Nebraska. Michigan State nearly lost to Rutgers. And now they turn around and play each other on Friday night. This game is going to be phenomenal. I cannot wait to watch it. It's going to be electric atmosphere over there in East Lansing. And this is a game that Michigan State has won 4 in a row over Michigan. That is something to look out. And they've also won 7 in a row at home. So Michigan hasn't beaten Michigan State in East Lansing since like 2018. It's been a really long time. But this Michigan team is way better than any that they have had in that time span. And but this Michigan State team is also really good. I mean, these are the 2 best statistical defensive teams in college basketball. They are 1 and 2 respectively in KenPom in defensive efficiency, and it's easy to see why. Michigan has that dominant front court that they've just been squeezing teams all year long with Yaxel Lindeborg, Moraes Johnson, and Adai Mara. They are phenomenal. And the thing that I am most interested in watching this game is, so Michigan State's offense is predicated a lot on Jeremy Fears. And rightfully so. I mean, Jeremy Fears is unreal. He's averaging 8.9 assists per game, which is just crazy. Like, they don't play as much basketball as they do in the NBA. Like, these games are just 20-minute halves. The fact that Jeremy Fears is averaging 8.9 assists per game is bonkers. I think he's the second best point guard in the Big Ten. And pretty much all of what Michigan State tries to do is they get Fears and pick and rolls, and then they just lob it to Jackson Culver. They lob it to Cohen Carr. They lob it to Carson Cooper. And they score a lot in the paint off of those Jeremy Fears pick and rolls. So what I'm really interested to see is, A, are the lob threats going to be there when Michigan could just put 7'3" Adai Mara in the paint? And if not Adai Mara, then Moraes Johnson Jr. And if not him, then Yaxel Lindeborg. Like, that's why Michigan's defense is so good, is because they have so many dominant front court players, and it's so hard to score in the paint. But Michigan State, they love scoring in the paint off of Jeremy Fears pick and rolls. So something's got to give there. Either Michigan's defense is not going to be as dominant as we think it normally is, or Jeremy Fears is going to really struggle with those lob threats, with scoring in the paint, with coming off those pick and rolls. So I think that's going to be a really interesting thing to look out for. And on the other side of the ball, too, Michigan, they've had turnover problems this year. For sure, 100% they've had turnover problems this year. They had them last year. That's just sort of part of Dusty May's system, is they turn the ball over a lot. Elliot Cadeau is a really athletic, awesome player to watch who's fantastic in fast breaks and can finish really well at the rim. But he turns the ball over a lot. Like they are not void of turnovers, and Michigan State will rush their guards all game long and force those turnovers. So I think this game could be a little ugly. I think that we could get a lot of Michigan's front court sort of dominating defensively down low against Michigan State's paint offense, which is going to make it really hard to score for them. And on the other side of the ball, I think Michigan could turn the ball over a lot. I think Michigan State's going to have the opportunity at least to force a bunch of turnovers and potentially get into fast breaks, which will allow Cohen Carr to go crazy, and then the whole place will erupt. But that being said, I think this is still going to be a great game. I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be low scoring. And if this game is close, like if we get to the end of the game with the last 5 minutes left and it's a one possession game, or it's even a two possession game, or it's back and forth, or whatever it is, and we have to watch these teams make big time shots, I think that is going to be fascinating as well. Because if you look at Michigan State, I mean, their shot making towards the end of games that are close is not great. I mean, they've relied a little bit on Divine Oguchukwu, I think is how you say his name, the shooting guard #1. That guy's a bucket. He is. Jeremy Fierce is not really a bucket getter. The bulk of Jeremy Fierce points down the stretch of games come from the free throw line. Jackson Kohler can score in the paint, but he's really inconsistent elsewhere. So if this is a really close game, how's Michigan State going to get their points? Who are they going to go to in crunch time in this game? And then same with Michigan. Like, Michigan has not had that go-to guy that they could just give the ball to late in games and know that he's going to deliver, know that he's going to get buckets. They just don't have that guy. I mean, Yaxel Lindeborg is fantastic. He really is. And I think he's definitely the best player on this team. But he is not like a dynamite scorer that you could just give the ball to him and he can go get you a bucket. That's not his game. He's a really, really well-rounded basketball player, but that's not who he is. And that's neither is Morez Johnson Jr., who's fantastic. He's had a great month, but he's not that guy. Neither is Adai Mara, and Elliot Cadeau's a little, like, I don't know do you really want, with the game on the line, on the road at a top 10 team, and you say, okay, we need somebody to make a shot right here, right now. Are you really giving the ball to Elliot Cadeau? Like, I think that's just an interesting facet of this game is if this game is close and late, who are these teams trusting? Can they deliver? Who's going to make the big time shots? Are they going to make the big time shots? Or are we just going to see a bunch of free throws? So that's another just an interesting thing to look out for in this game. So my game pick. I think it is really, really hard right now to pick against the Michigan Wolverines. Like, really, really hard to do because their front court is so strong, because they are so good on defense and their shot making is improving. So it's really, really, really hard to pick Michigan or to pick against Michigan. That being said, I'm doing it. I'm picking Michigan State in this game for a couple of reasons. First of all, I just love Jeremy Fierce. I love the consistency that he brings to this roster. If you play basketball, if you watch basketball, you know that teams that have good point guards, they just bring consistently. Like, the offense just flows so much better when you have a good point guard. And I just trust Jeremy Fierce, and I also trust the Michigan State defense to force a bunch of turnovers. And I think Cohen Carr's going to make plays, and the crowd's going to get into it. And I'm taking Michigan State. I mean, they haven't lost at home to Michigan in 7 games. Like, it's been a long time. Is this really going to be the year that Michigan comes in and beats them? If it is, all hats off to Dusty May, and this Michigan team is phenomenal. I still think Michigan is 100% a national title contender. I still think they're a top 5 team in the country. No doubt. No doubt they're a top 5 team. And, I mean, these are just 2 great teams. Like, the loser of this game is going to be okay. And whoever wins this game, I think the story is more about the winner of this game than the loser. Because either way, it's impressive. It's really impressive if Michigan goes on the road and beats Michigan State. It's also really impressive if Michigan State can find a way to beat Michigan. So, that being said, I think this game's going to be awesome. I'm taking Michigan State. Hopefully, it works out for me tonight. If not, I will not be shocked. I will not be shocked at all if Michigan wins this game. This is not the only good game that we have on this weekend. In fact, I don't even think it's going to be the most fun one to watch. Because on Saturday, at, I believe, 3:30 Central Time, the BYU Cougars travel all the way from Provo to Kansas to take on the Jayhawks. This game is going to be so great. I mean, everyone that has previewed the college basketball season in the offseason circled this game. I'm sorry, it says ACC below their names right now if you're watching this on YouTube. It's supposed to be Big 12. Okay, I get it. Kansas and BYU not in the Big 12. That was a little mistake on my part. But that being said, everyone, before the season started, they knew that the 2 best freshmen in college basketball were going to be AJ Dybansta and Darryn Peterson. And I know Cam Boozer's fantastic, and I picked Cam Boozer preseason to win preseason player of the year. And I think he's great. I think he's going to win the Player of the Year award, and he's going to be a top 3 draft pick. He's awesome. But the two most fun freshmen to watch in college basketball are Darryn Peterson and AJ Dybansta. The two freshmen that you can just turn on the TV at any point in their year, and it's primetime basketball, are AJ Dybansta and Darryn Peterson. They're both crazy good. And, I mean, this game is just going to be so much fun. It's going to be so, so awesome. I can't wait for it. Kansas, of course, has been without Darryn Peterson for a large chunk of their season. That's sort of been the main story circulating around the Jayhawks is when is Darryn Peterson going to be finally healthy? Like, okay, he's missed another game. He's missed another game. Oh, he's only playing in the first 10 minutes of this game. He's on a minutes restriction. He should be fully healthy in this game. And he hasn't played the last couple of games. It sort of feels like Kansas has circled this game. That Bill Self knows that BYU's coming to town, and he's been saving Darryn Peterson, waiting to not play him so he can finally put him in and get him 100% against BYU. At least I hope that's what we get. Because if we get 100% Darryn Peterson versus 100% AJ Dybansta, it's going to be an instant classic. Like, this might be one of those games that we talk about 15 years from now. That we say, oh, AJ Dybansta and Darryn Peterson are tearing it up in the NBA. Do we remember when they played in college? Do we remember that classic when the Cougars came to Allen Fieldhouse and just had an awesome day? Because that might be what we're in store for. This could be legitimately an instant classic. But that being said, Darryn Peterson has missed a lot of the season. I think that has really allowed the rest of this Kansas Jayhawks team to really come into their own. Like, this is a really good Kansas team, even without Darryn Peterson. Like, in the beginning of the year, I looked at this roster and I said, okay, it's Darryn Peterson or bust. You know, either Darryn Peterson's going to go out and drop 40 or this team is going to struggle. But despite that, I mean, with Darryn Peterson being hurt, this team still has been really good. They are a good defensive team. I feel like that's something that no one is really talking about with Kansas. Defensively, this team is nasty. Like, Flory Badunga is really, really good at protecting the paint. He's been a great defender. I think Trey White has been fantastic. He was a great addition from Illinois out of the transfer portal. He's a great defender. He's become a much better shooter within this system as well. And then Melvin Council Jr. is so much fun. Like, Melvin Council Jr. will randomly just drop 40 points. Like, that will happen. Or he'll randomly just turn it on in the fourth quarter and summon, like, the spirit of Michael Jordan. That's, like, what he does randomly. I don't understand why or how, but he's really, really good too. So I think that's just another thing that's really interesting to look out for this Kansas team. Yeah, this is a really good BYU offense. Rob Wright and Richie Saunders and AJ Dybansta are probably the best big three in the country right now. Like, you can definitively say that. But they're going up against a Kansas defense that is really, really good. I'm really excited to see that. Is Rob Wright going to be able to get buckets against Melvin Council? Is Trey White going to be on AJ Dybansta, or is Darryn Peterson going to be on AJ Dybansta? Whichever one of them matches up with him, can they lock him down? You know, is Flory Badunga going to be able to sort of dominate the interior to push out Kiba Keita and get a bunch of rebounds? Is Kansas going to have an edge there? So I think that's another thing that's really interesting to look at. And with BYU, they are really top heavy. Like, they rely so much on Rob Wright, Richie Saunders, and AJ Dybansta. And those guys are great. Don't get me wrong. I mean, every single one of them can get you a bucket, and they're all fantastic. 100%, that's true. But outside of those three guys, like, if you can rattle them, if you can shake them, if you can limit them, then the scores around them are not nearly as consistent. And I know they have a couple good role players. Kate is good. Whoever number 30 is a great shooter. But that should be Kansas's game, or their game plan. And basically anyone that plays BYU, that should be their game plan. Rattle the big three. If you can rattle them just a little bit, you can shake them, if you can knock them off course, then you can flood them and sort of, dominate defensively. That being said, it's not going to be easy for them to do because BYU, again, that big three, if they get going, like if Richie Saunders gets going, if AJ Dybansta gets going, there's little you can do to slow them down. But that being said, I am picking Kansas in this game because I think Darryn Peterson is that good. Like, I think he is so unguardable. A 100% healthy Darryn Peterson can score from all three levels. He's super athletic. He's super talented. He's got a ton of confidence. And I think this is sort of the Darryn Peterson coming out party. No one's really talking about Darryn Peterson. Everyone is talking about AJ Dybansta and Cam Boozer and Kingston Flemings and Michael Brown coming back and Caleb Wilson, the kid at North Carolina. When people talk about the best freshman in college basketball, Darryn Peterson sometimes isn't even mentioned. And I do think that he is the best freshman in college basketball, and he's going to be the number 1 overall pick. I think he's going to prove it tonight against BYU and against Dybansta. And that being said, I think Kansas' defense is also going to play well and support him beautifully. And this is a good Kansas Jayhawks team, 100%. I mean, this Kansas team, if Peterson's healthy, if their defense keeps playing like this, they can beat almost anybody, and they can make a good run in March if Bill Self has them playing at their peak. That being said, I do think BYU is a great team. Do I think BYU is an elite team? Do I think they're a title contender? Do I think that they're a top 4 team in the country? No, I don't think that, because I really don't like how their chemistry works. I don't love the fact that Rob Wright and AJ Dybansta are both trying to play hero ball all the time. And Richie Saunders hustles, and I love Richie Saunders. But you need more guys like Richie Saunders on this team to support your superstars, and I just don't really think they quite have it yet. Again, I could be proven completely wrong on Saturday afternoon. Like, if BYU comes in here and wins, I'm proven completely wrong. But I am sticking with the Jayhawks. I am picking Kansas in this game. So Rock Chalk Jayhawk for me on Saturday afternoon. The next game we got to talk about. How about this game in the Mountain West? San Diego State going on the road to face off against the Utah State Aggies. I love me some Mountain West college basketball. I really do. And usually the Mountain West college basketball games are on pretty late, right? Because they're out in the West Coast. So if you live on the East Coast like me, you got to stay up pretty late to watch these games. Not this time. This game is tipping off 12 o'clock Central Time. I believe that's 10 o'clock local time in Utah. It's either 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock. I don't completely remember how the time zones work. But either way, it's an early tip for these teams. And this is a huge game. These are potentially the 2 best teams in the Mountain West. I know New Mexico has a little bit of an argument to be made, but I do think that San Diego State and Utah State are the 2 best teams in the Mountain West. And this is the first time they play each other. They play each other in Utah State, of course, on Saturday, and then they play in San Diego State later in February. So this is the first big-time matchup. The best 2 teams in the conference are going to play each other in. And an important thing to note about this game, San Diego State lost to Grand Canyon earlier I think it was 2 weeks ago. They did not have Magoon Guath for that game. He's their big 7'1" center. San Diego State's really good on defense, a lot because they funnel everything towards Magoon Guath. He's sort of how they play defense. And he is once again injured for this game. He's got a hip injury. I don't know exactly how long he's going to be hurt for, but he's not playing in this game. To me, that is huge. His absence is big time. It's like Creighton playing without Ryan Kalkbrenner last year. Like, literally, San Diego State on defense, they just funnel everything to Magoon Guath, and he is like a black hole. He's like 7'2". He's got a huge wingspan, and he's a great defender. And San Diego State's without him. I mean, that's 100% worth noting. So if San Diego State's going to win this game, it's going to be on the shoulders of their guards. You know, Miles Byrd is going to have to play great. And that being said, I mean, it could happen. 100% it could. But on the road against Utah State, against a good Utah State team, this is going to be difficult. And if Magoon Guath was healthy, I would 100% be picking San Diego State for sure. I think a healthy San Diego State team is going to win this Mountain West Conference. I think they are the best team in the Mountain West. But that being said, I mean, I don't think they can go into Utah State and win. This is a raucous environment. Like, if you've never been to Utah State Stadium before, I haven't myself, but their student section takes up like half of that place. It's small. It's compact. The students are literally right on top of you. It's going to be rough. Like, I think this might be a rough day for San Diego State. I'm excited to watch this game. But in the battle for Mountain West supremacy, give me Utah State. I'm taking MJ Collins. I'm taking Mason Folsom. And I'm taking Utah State to win this basketball game and get themselves their best win of the season so far. So I'm taking the Aggies in this one. It's 12 o'clock. It's on CBS too. So I don't know who's calling this game, but this one's going to be fun to watch for sure. And I'm taking the Aggies over the Lobos. How about Kentucky and Arkansas? This game's going to be fun. I remember this game last year. This game last year was like the most hyped up game I had ever seen, other than maybe like the UNC Duke game. That was Mike Krzyzewski's last game as a Duke Blue Devil in the regular season. That game was crazy hyped up. This game last year was nuts. John Calipari coming back to Rupp Arena. Kentucky was ranked like in the top 10 at the time. Arkansas was, I think, 0-5 in the SEC. They were looking really rough. And then all of a sudden, Arkansas just opened up the floodgates. Like, all of their players went crazy. DJ Wagner had a great game. Big Z went crazy from 3. I think Nelly Davis had a couple big-time shots in that game. And Arkansas won, and that sort of catapulted them to making the NCAA tournament. And they made a pretty good run. Like, Arkansas last year, for as bad as they started that season, they were a catastrophic choke away from an Elite Eight appearance where they probably would have lost to Florida. But that being said, I mean, I feel like this game has gotten no hype whatsoever. Like, I've barely heard of anyone talking about Kentucky versus Arkansas. And I think a lot of that is because I mean, look at where these two teams are right now. I mean, do you remember 2 years ago after Kentucky lost to Oakland in the first round and everyone wanted Calipari gone and he left and he went to Arkansas? From that point until now, Arkansas is looking way better than Kentucky. I mean, Kentucky is so volatile. They're so random. I have no idea if they're going to just go on a crazy 20-0 run or get blown out by Vanderbilt on the road. But Arkansas, on the other hand, is a lot more consistent. They are inconsistent for sure. But Arkansas, as of right now, is in a much better place than Kentucky. So John Calipari, as of right now, has done better than Mark Pope, in my opinion, since that moment in time, which is just interesting to see. It's interesting to look at and interesting to talk about. And if you want to appease Big Blue Nation as a coach, and Big Blue Nation is debatably the best fan base in all of college basketball, if you want to appease this team and this fan base, you can't be losing to John Calipari consecutive years after you fired him. Like that's just tough to do. They're not going to be happy at all with Mark Pope if they lose this basketball game, and most of them aren't even happy with Mark Pope right now. But that being said, this is also a great opportunity for Kentucky. I mean, this is basically last year, but the roles flipped. This time it's Arkansas that's been playing really well. It's Arkansas that looks like the better team, and Kentucky's the one that's inconsistent. They have taken the lumps. They are not looking great. Could this be the time that Kentucky goes on the road, plays super inspired, and takes out the Arkansas Razorbacks to catapult their season into something much more successful than it's looking like? It could be. But I will say they are without, of course, Jalen Lowe is out for a long time. I forget exactly what injury he has, but he's out for a while. Quaintance is not healthy for this game. Neither is Cam Williams. So this is a very undermanned Kentucky team, and they're going up against an Arkansas team that is really, really fun. I love Arkansas. I think the key for Arkansas winning games in the SEC and against pretty much anybody is getting stops on defense and forcing turnovers, because they are maybe the best fast break team in the country. Like, they have so many athletic, just awesome players on their team that if they turn the ball over and they get you into transition, it's going to be Darius Acuff throwing lobs to, Billy Richmond and Carter Knox, and they're just going to be super athletic and making plays. Like, that's what they do. I think that's when Arkansas is at their best. It's when they're getting stops and getting out into transition. Can they do that against a Kentucky team that's without their point guard and without their best front court player and without one of their better shooters in Cam Williams? I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say that even though Denzel Aberdeen's been great recently, Mo D's a great hustle player. I believe that, and I've seen it before with my own eyes. But I do think this is a game that Arkansas is going to force turnovers, get out in transition, and just turn on the highlight tape. Like, I think we're going to see some awesome plays in this game from Billy Richmond, from Carter Knox, even from guys like Trevon Brazile. And I just think Arkansas is going to win this game pretty easily. That being said, this is the perfect moment for Kentucky to shock me. Like, I was all in on Kentucky in the offseason. I thought Kentucky was going to be the best team in the SEC. I thought they were going to be a 1 seed, and they were going to have a chance to make a deep run in March. And then, of course, everything went wrong for this Kentucky team. It really has. So this is their moment. This is Kentucky's chance to catch my attention again, to grab the attention of the rest of the college basketball world after getting drubbed by Vanderbilt in Nashville. Goodness gracious. They're lucky this game isn't in Nashville, because the 2 times Kentucky's played in Nashville, against Gonzaga and against Vanderbilt, those were both really ugly. But again, this is the chance. I mean, it's about to be February. You're going to have to start turning up soon if you want to peak at the right time. Kentucky should still make the tournament. But if they want to make the tournament, they cannot keep dropping all these games. And I know they won 5 in a row before playing Vanderbilt. But this is a big-time moment for Kentucky. Like, if they can win this game, if they can get some big-time play out of some of their sleeping giants, Otega Owe, are you going to, wake up and play basketball? I swear I haven't seen you do anything all year. If Owe can wake up, if Aberdeen can ball out, if this team could somehow scrap out a win against Arkansas, we might be putting them back on the map. I mean, they are 5-3 in the SEC. It's not like they're gone yet. It just sort of feels like that. So this is a big-time game for the Wildcats. I think this game says much more about Kentucky than it says about Arkansas. But even that being said, I think Arkansas is going to win by at least 10 points. So give me John Calipari to win a big-time game once again against his former squad. Another big-time SEC game. This is on Saturday night at 7:30 Central Time, I believe, is the tip-off of this game. This game is fascinating. If you're an Alabama fan, close your eyes, because these are your 2 biggest rivals, of course. But both these teams are hot right now. Both of them are. I mean, you can look at either one of them. Tennessee went on the road to Alabama in the whole Charles Bediako return game and beat the Crimson Tide. Nate Ahmet dropped 29 points. They played spectacularly. And then right after that game, they went on the road to Georgia, one of their other biggest rivals, and they won that game in overtime. So Tennessee's won a couple in a row. It was a slow start for them in the SEC, but they're gaining momentum, and they're starting to play some of their best basketball ahead of this Auburn game. And Auburn, on the other hand, has also been really, really hot leading into this game. They got maybe the best win of any SEC team in conference play so far, going on the road to Gainesville and taking down the Florida Gators. I thought Auburn was going to get smoked in that game, and they pretty much controlled it the entire time. They survived a third quarter surge from Tommy Houck, and they got that win. And then right after that, on Wednesday night, they fight off a really good Texas team, or not a really good Texas team, but a Texas team that is feisty and tough to take down. They won that game. They've won their last two. Tennessee's won their last two. Now Auburn's got to travel on the road to take on Tennessee. This game's going to be fun. I'm excited to watch this one. Auburn is one of the hardest teams in college basketball to predict, in my opinion, because who knows what Keyshawn Hall is going to do, right? Like Keyshawn Hall is Auburn's small forward. He's transferred from, I believe, UCF. He's awesome. Like, he's really, really good. He's been their best player this year, but he's so volatile. Like, it feels like Keyshawn Hall will either go out and drop 15 points in the first 10 minutes of the basketball game, and Auburn's going to win, or he's just going to turn the ball over, struggle, not shoot well, try to play hero ball, and Auburn's going to lose by 20. Like, which Keyshawn Hall are we going to get? Because that pretty much determines the identity of this basketball team. And I love Todd Pettiford. I think he's awesome. He's really fun to watch. Atwell's become a great shooter for them. But, I mean, at the same time, like, it really all falls on the shoulders of Keyshawn Hall, or most of it usually does if you're the Auburn Tigers. And I think Rick Barnes knows that. I mean, Rick Barnes is one of the best defensive coaches in college basketball. He's going to know that. So I think you're going to see a lot of pressure on Keyshawn Hall. They're going to rush him. And then I think they're definitely going to rush Pettiford and Atwell off the three-point line and make Auburn score in the post. And, you know, Philip Jovic is pretty good. Keyshawn Hall is pretty good. But I wouldn't say they're dominant paint scorers. So I do really think that Auburn's going to struggle offensively. And then on the other side of the court, Jacoby Gillespie and Nate Mint are really starting to find their groove. I mean, this Tennessee team that I thought could be the best in the SEC after watching them beat Houston in Players Era, they struggled for a while because Nate Mint has not been consistent. But now they're starting to sort of get to their peak. He's starting to trust himself a lot more, play with a lot of confidence, and he's trusting his mid-range shot a lot more than he has early on in the season. And I think that's been a deadly thing for him. I mean, he's 6'10" and he can shoot like a guard. He's really tough to defend. And I do think that Tennessee's going to win this game. I have the Vols winning a low-scoring game. I think Auburn's going to want to play fast. They're going to want to, push this game into the 80s, into the 90s. Tennessee's not going to let them do that. I think we're going to see Tennessee play their style of basketball instead of Auburn's style of basketball. And I'm taking Nate Mint and Jacoby Gillespie to take down the Tigers and give Tennessee, I think, their third win in the conference in a row. So they're looking really good in an SEC that is wide open. I mean, I feel like we're not talking about this enough. There is no, one dominant team in the SEC. I thought it was going to be Florida after they were just dismantling some of the teams early on in conference play. But they just lost to Auburn. I mean, Auburn's 5-3, Tennessee's 4-3. Alabama is not rising above anybody. Neither is Vanderbilt. Neither is Kentucky or Arkansas. Like, this conference is wide open. And I feel like the winner of this game sort of cements themselves as a major contender to win the SEC. The loser is still good. Whoever loses this game, they're not out of anything. They're still a good team. They'll still make the tournament. But it just sort of feels like the loser, it gets bumped into a bottom rung. And the winner of this game sort of raises themselves into a top rung of the SEC teams of a conference that is completely wide open. So I'm excited to watch this one. I think it's going to be fun. Low scoring, a lot of free throws maybe in this game, a lot of fouls, a lot of chippiness. But I'm taking Tennessee to win in a close one. Here's another game that I think is going to be a really interesting one. Duke is traveling on the road to take on Virginia Tech. And this is the type of game that means so much more for Virginia Tech than it does for Duke. This is a huge game for Virginia Tech. They're probably going to make the tournament. They're a little on the bubble right now. I think they're pretty firmly in as of right now. But this is the last chance that Virginia Tech gets to host a really, really good team in their place and get a big-time win at home. And if we look at the rest of Virginia Tech's schedule, the rest of their big games are on the road. Like, they host Duke, of course, on Saturday. Then they got to play at North Carolina State. This is not in order. There's games in between these games, but these are just some of their other bigger games. They're going to play at NC State, at Clemson, at UNC, and at Virginia. So they don't really have a marquee home game like this one left on their schedule. Of course, they do have the Virginia win early in the year. That's a big-time victory for this Hokie team. But this is the last time that they get a major opponent on their home court. And I think this is a big moment for them to take advantage of it. The problem is they're playing Duke. Like, Duke is really, really good. In my opinion, Duke is the best team in college basketball. I know Arizona's phenomenal. I get it. They're great. They are a close second, for sure. But Duke is so good. I mean, this team, them defensively, it's crazy. Like, they have so many good defensive players. And John Shire's done such a great job scheming it up for him. I mean, this Duke team is phenomenal. And then offensively, they have probably the national player of the year on their team in Cam Boozer. Isaiah Evans is playing really, really good. And, I mean, this Duke team is just so good. They are so unbelievably good. And I think they're my pick right now to win the national championship. So we'll see what happens when they go on the road against Virginia Tech. But I think something that's really interesting to look at, Amani Hansberry has sort of been Virginia Tech's go-to guy down the stretch of ACC play so far. He's averaging 15 and 8. He's going up against Cam Boozer. Can he lock Boozer down? Can Boozer lock him down? What's going to go on there? But I am taking Duke to win this game. Like, you're crazy if you pick Virginia Tech. Like, Virginia Tech could win, and I would be surprised and shocked. But you are not going to see me getting proven wrong by Duke. Like, I am picking Duke 100%. But this game could be fun. Like, again, this game tells me so much more about where Virginia Tech is at than where Duke is at. I think that's definitely true, and it'll be a very fun one to watch. I think it's noon tip, maybe. It might be noon tip, might be earlier, might be later. I don't remember, but it's gonna be a fun one. I'm excited to at least have this one on the quad box. Here's another Friday night game. Everyone's saying, "Oh, Friday night, man! I'm so excited about Michigan State. That game's gonna be awesome. I'm gonna be dialed in." And I agree. Like, I'm gonna be focused on the Michigan State game. It's gonna be a lot of fun. But that being said, we have ourselves a ball game in the A10 with St. Louis hosting Dayton. This is gonna be a lot of fun. St. Louis, I feel like, is the most underrated team in college basketball right now. Like, no one's talking about St. Louis. When everyone talks about best mid-major in the country, everyone's focusing on Miami, Ohio, and rightfully so. You know, that's one of the best stories in the sport. They're 21-0 right now. They're still undefeated, and every single time they win a game, they win it in like double overtime. Like, I want to watch every Miami, Ohio game because they're all must-watch television, every single one of them. But this St. Louis team, in my opinion, is the best mid-major in the country. Ignoring Gonzaga. I don't consider Gonzaga to be a mid-major. I think that's a little disrespectful. But I think St. Louis is the best non-Gonzaga mid-major that there is in college basketball right now. That being said, I mean, the reason that I like the St. Louis team so much is because they have 7 players averaging 9+ points. Like, that's crazy. They don't rely. I mean, Robbie Avila is fantastic. He really is. He's averaging 13 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, and shooting 47% from 3 as a center. Like, he is playing absolutely amazing. I love watching Robbie Avila, I think is how you say his last name. But this St. Louis team, I mean, they spread the ball out a lot. They all trust each other. They got great ball movement, great passers, and they can all shoot really well too. And that is why, I mean, they have a full 9-man rotation, and all 9 of those guys contribute in a big way. A lot of teams in college basketball, you see, if their 2-star players don't have a good game, you know, if they're not in the right mental space, or if they're struggling, or if the other team's playing great defense, then it's pretty much an automatic loss. But this St. Louis team, that is not the case. Like, they can get big-time performances out of any of their 9 guys, and all of their 9 guys play their roles so well. And this team, they've been winning games. They're 20-1, and that one loss was a 1-point loss to Stanford in non-conference play. So they're literally like 1 possession away from being one of these undefeated teams that we keep talking about. It's just they fell a little bit short, but they're 20-1. They're 8-0 in the A10. They're playing better basketball than almost anybody in mid-major basketball right now. And I mean, they're just a spectacular team. They do have to play Dayton, and they haven't beaten Dayton in 4 games. I think Dayton's won 3 in a row against St. Louis. Dayton has lost 3 in a row. That's definitely true. But I think Dayton's going to give a really inspired effort in this game. It's on the road. They're going to bring their A game. They're healthy, and they need this one. Like, this is a hungry Dayton team. After losing 3 in a row in the A10, if you can go on the road and beat the best team in your conference, you're going to give the best effort that you possibly can. So some people might say to themselves, "Oh, Dayton's lost 3 in a row. St. Louis is just hot. They're on a high. This game's not even going to be close. If St. Louis struggles That's bad on them. Dane's going to give a great effort. They're going to play really well. They're going to play physical. They're going to play scrappy. And I think it's going to be a really good game. I'm really excited to check on this game as I watch the Michigan State game because I think it's going to be close. I think it's just going to be a great game of basketball. It should be pretty pure. Not a lot of free throws, not a lot of fouling. Should just be good basketball. This is the type of basketball that I live for. The A10 mid-major games that are not talked about by the national media, but should be so much fun and so amazing to watch. I am picking St. Louis to win this game, but I'm picking it to be very, very close and very good, and it might come down to the final 3 minutes of the basketball game. Speaking of mid-majors, next game we're going to talk about, we're going out to the West Coast Conference where St. Mary's is taking on Gonzaga. The main thing, the first thing I wrote down when I was thinking about what I was going to talk about this game is that I finally get to watch these two teams. I haven't watched Gonzaga since Players era, pretty much. At least I don't think. They did play Kentucky. I did watch that game. But I haven't watched Gonzaga in so long. It's been a month and a half since I've turned on the TV and watched Gonzaga basketball. Because as much as I love college basketball, I don't want to watch, Gonzaga beat random West Coast Conference teams by 20 points. That's not how I spend my Wednesday nights. I did watch a little bit of the San Francisco game where they only won by 2 points. But I'm just excited to watch this team again. I haven't watched them in so long. And St. Mary's the same way. I have not watched St. Mary's basketball yet this year. But now I get to because this is a big-time game. It's at 9:30 Central Time, so I'm excited to stay up and watch it. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I have a lot of takes on both these two teams. But just keep in mind that all of the other teams that I've been talking about so far in this podcast, I have watched, and I really understand what they do. But the Gonzaga St. Mary's teams, I just haven't watched them very much. So I'm going to give you my opinion on them. But my opinion is not as strong as it is for other teams. That being said, for Gonzaga, I think they have one of the best front courts in the country for sure, with Graham Ike, with Braden Huff, with Tyron Grant Foster when he's playing in the right mental state. But their backcourt, I just don't trust at all. And that's the reason I don't think Gonzaga is going to win a national championship or even make the Final Four, is because, yes, their front court is good, and that brings consistent play, and that brings really good defense and a consistent point stream. But when you don't have the backcourt to step up and make big-time plays at big-time moments, it's tough to win big-time games. It really is. And they're going up against the St. Mary's team that is front-court dominant. This St. Mary's team, they got the two big guys. Paulis Morauskas, I believe is how you pronounce that guy's name. He's 6'8" at the forward position, averaging 19 and 7. He's balling right now. He's a great shooter. He can get to his spot. He gets to the free throw line. He's awesome. And then they also have Andrew McKeever, 7'2", averaging 9.4 rebounds per game. So here's what I think is going to happen in this game. I think that Gonzaga is going to try and, of course, score in the front court as much as they can with Ike and with Huff. That's their identity. That's what they want to do. That's what they're going to try and do. But St. Mary's defensively down low is good. They are dominant. So I think they're going to make Gonzaga's backcourt beat them with shot making, with getting to the free throw line. And frankly, I don't think Gonzaga is going to be able to do that. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I think it's going to be sloppy. It's going to be ugly. All of the St. Mary's Gonzaga games that I've watched the last 2 years, it's going to be low-scoring with bad shooting. But at the end of the day, I'm taking St. Mary's. Give me St. Mary's to go on the road into the kennel and take down the Bulldogs, giving them their first loss in conference play and their first loss since getting blown out by Michigan in the Players Era tournament. So I think this is a little bold, I think, taking St. Mary's to go on the road and beat Gonzaga. I could be completely wrong. Now that I said this, I'll probably turn on the TV late at night and Gonzaga's going to be up by 20. But I'm taking St. Mary's. I'm doing it. I don't think Gonzaga is as good as people are saying. I think they're a little overrated, but we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. I think St. Mary's going to win. But with this game, more than anything else, I'm just excited to watch these teams because I haven't gotten to watch them. And that's what sucks about them playing in the West Coast Conference is, no, I'm not going to watch St. Mary's versus San Francisco. I would love to, but I have other things to do with my life, so I'm not going to quite watch that. But St. Mary's Gonzaga, you do have my attention. I will be watching that game, and I'm excited to see what happens. Just some other notable games I'm going to talk about for just a second before the end of the podcast tonight. Louisville takes on SMU. Louisville, man. I thought Louisville was going to be spectacular watching them early in the year because their guards and their backcourt is so elite. I know Michael Brown's been injured for a while. He just came back this week to go 1 for 9 from the field against Duke. He looked awful in that game. But hey, good thing is you don't got to play Dame Sarr. Like that's definitely a good thing for Louisville. Is you're not going up against Duke. You're going up against SMU. This should be a get right game for the Cardinals. They're all healthy. They're going up against a defense that is not Duke. They're not elite. They should be able to score. Michael Brown, if you go 1 for 9 again, I'm just going to lose all faith. Conwell should be great early. If McNeely can wake up, like Isaac McNeely has been asleep since like the first 2 games of the year. If he can wake up, if he can play good, this Louisville team, they should win this game by like double digits. Like they should push this game to a track meet and blow out SMU. They should do that. But if this game is close, if Michael Brown is struggling, if they find a way to defend Conwell and McNeely is off, then SMU will win this game. Like SMU is a great offensive team. Boopy Miller is one of the best point guards in the ACC. Like, if this is a close game, if it's going down to the wire, I am putting all of my money on Boopy Miller and SMU. And I don't think Louisville's going to stand a chance if it's a close game. So, is this going to be a track meet? Is Michael Brown and Ryan Conwell and McNeely going to finally play well together for the first time in so long? Are they going to win by 20? Or are they going to let SMU hang in it and let Boopy Miller go off and win this game? In my opinion, I'm still picking Louisville. I think this is a big get-right situation for them. I think their backcourt is talented enough to win this game by a lot. But if they're not on, and if SMU wins, then I've just lost all faith in Louisville at this point if they lose this game. But I'm taking Louisville to win this one. And SMU's a good team. Like this is no pushover on SMU. SMU's great. But Louisville is just more talented, and they should be able to prove it tomorrow night. Texas Tech at UCF. This is another big-time game. Texas Tech just coming off the big win against Houston on Saturday, I guess a week ago when this game happens. And then they do have to play at Kansas on Monday. So they're coming off a big-time game, and they're looking ahead to going on the road to Allen Fieldhouse. Could they slip up here against a good UCF team? It's just going to be interesting to see. It's on the road. Riley Kugel's been playing great. And UCF, I mean, they're no pushover. They're a tournament team. I am picking Texas Tech to win because I think Texas Tech's supporting cast has improved so much. Like, Texas Tech early in the year was mind-numbing to watch because it was Christian Anderson and JT Toppin are playing their hearts out, and they're dropping 30 points each, and Texas Tech is still losing because they're not getting anything from the rest of their team. But against Houston, and as the season's gone on, Lawan Watts has been playing so much better. What's the name of their freshman? Jalen Petty has been playing so much better. And just the supporting cast around these guys has been improving so much. So that being said, I'm taking Texas Tech to win this game. But I would not be shocked if it's close because Texas Tech's not in the right mental state. And then talk about fun basketball. My goodness, I cannot wait to watch this game. Georgia's taking on Texas A&M. A&M's hot right now. They've won like 3 in a row. They haven't played a lot of the upper echelon teams in the SEC. Like, that 6-1 SEC record is awesome. But buttress your feelings a little bit because they have literally gotten like the easiest slate you could possibly imagine in the SEC. That's why they're 6-1. I mean, they're also a good team. Like, no shade on A&M. But some people are going to look at 6-1 in the SEC and say, oh my gosh, they're top 10 in the country. Let's not say that yet because they haven't really had a big marquee win. Georgia, on the other hand, is struggling right now. They just lost to Tennessee. But this game's going to be awesome. It's going to be so much fun. Georgia loves to push the pace. They play really fast, and they have great offense. And then we know how buckyball is. They're going to pressure the court, pretty much play press the whole time. They're going to play fast too. This game will probably be in the triple digits for both these teams. But I envision a lot of free throws late in the game. That might be a little bit boring. But this game should be awesome to watch. Should be super fun. And just another good one in our amazing slate of college basketball. And that'll do it for this weekend's college basketball preview. Thanks so much for watching, folks. If you take one thing away from this video, it's not that I love AJ Dybansta or Darryn Peterson or anybody else in college basketball. I do love this great sport. But I don't love it nearly as much as I love our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. And I don't love Jesus nearly as much as he loves me. And he loves each and every one of you guys. Like, I am no better than any of y'all watching this video. I'm a sinner. I choose earthly things over God all the time. But it's a constant battle. And loving God is an action. Like, being a Christian and loving is not just a feeling. It's not just something that we say we do or something that we say we believe in. It's about actions. It's about choosing God in our day-to-day lives. And we do that by loving each other, by being kind, by helping people, by being compassionate, by understanding each other. And the best way that you can love God is to just love your friend and love your family member. Just be there for the people in your life that God placed there for a reason. So I challenge each and every one of you to do that this weekend. Just love somebody this weekend. And that doesn't mean romantically throw yourself at somebody. That just means serve them, help them, do something nice for them. Because if you do that, God will be really happy, and all He wants is to talk to you, and all He wants is to just be in your life. Like, that's all that He wants. And if you do that, I promise you that you will be more fulfilled than anything that you might experience on this planet. So that being said, thanks so much for watching. God bless. Hope you all have a great weekend. And I know you will have a great weekend if you're watching college basketball, because it's going to be a fantastic Saturday and a Friday night. So thanks so much for watching. I hope you all have a great weekend, and I'll see y'all later. Peace out.